Hello, everyone. I hope that it has been a nice start to you for 2025, and if not, maybe this video can help bring you up, or maybe you can bring me down by yelling at me in the comments, because today we have a channel first. We have a tier list video. So instead of taking takes from the internet, this is all just going to be me listing things in a tier list. You've seen tier list videos before. This is nothing new. But today we are talking all about chips. Everyone's favorite snack food. There are a couple of items that are borderline chips that I've distinguished to be a part of this tier list, so yell at me about that if you want to in the comment section. But with all that being said, let's get into the tier list. We're going to start with, wow, we're starting out with a bang here. This is probably one of, if not my favorite chips in the whole world. We have Baked Lay's. This is 100% S tier. Baked Lay's, I like them a lot better than regular Lay's. They've got a better crunchiness. They're a little bit saltier at times, and they lose some of that greasiness that you find in normal Lay's. But they've got a great texture, and I think they're also a lot better for you. So definitely one of my go-to chips that I go through in a pretty large quantity. So a really great start here for this tier list. That is S tier. And now another bang here. Wow, another great chip. We've got blue Doritos. For a couple of these chips, I've taken a couple of different variants and taken them out. But for some of them, I'm just talking about the entirety of the chip as a total. For Doritos, I've done blue and red Doritos. So blue Doritos to start. These are undoubtedly my favorite of the between red and blue of the original flavors. I think Doritos are a great chip. I think this is going to be an A tier chip. It's a little bit different from your regular tortilla chip. It's got that nice spice on it. It doesn't really require a dipping sauce or anything like that. I just think the blue Dorito tastes better than the red one. Whatever spices or whatever they put on that Dorito, it's just absolutely magical for me. But not an S tier yet. But still a very, very quality chip. We've got another blue chip. A blue chip prospect, if you will, if you know football. We've got blue Sun Chips. I've taken the liberty of doing blue and orange Sun Chips. Those are my two favorite flavors of Sun Chips. The red ones and the green ones, they're all right, but I don't eat them enough to be enough of an authority on them. So I'm going to start with blue Sun Chips here. I'm debating between A and B tier here. We might change this as it goes on, but for now I'm going to put them in B tier. I probably will move them up to A tier. Definitely top of B tier, if not. I just like the saltiness that this one has. It's got a little bit of a different saltiness, and it's like a whole grain chip or whatever, so it's a little different from a lot of the chips that you see out on the market. I just think it's a really quality chip. It's a go-to that doesn't really do anything too crazy. It's just nice and salty. It's a nice craving satisfier. I think I will end up moving this to A tier, though, but we'll see with the rest of the chips. Now, Cheetos. This is a real popular one. I don't like Cheetos. I just don't think they're that great. I'm going to put them in D tier. I don't think they're awful. I mean, they're edible, but I just personally am not big on Cheetos flavor. I think that they're just all right. I think there are a lot better cheesy chips on the market, and you could talk about Flamin' Hot Cheetos, something like that, but that also just isn't really my style. I'm not big on Cheetos just in general. I just think that if you look down the line at the rest of these chips and the chips that are already on the board, I just think there are so many better chips that I'd rather have than Cheetos. And it's not even really a chip, but it's close enough and it's popular enough to where I say it's a chip. You could talk about Cheeto Puffs maybe, but even then, not great. Maybe a C tier at best if you were to talk about a Cheeto Puff. But Cheetos in general, just not really my thing. I just think they're not that great. But something that I think is a lot better than a Cheeto. Chex Mix. Once again, I've taken Chex Mix into two. I've taken the blue Chex Mix and the orange Chex Mix because they're very, very different. They've even got some different components to them. Blue Chex Mix, I think, is a lot like blue Sun Chips. Very basic, very chill, gets the job done. Nice and salty snack. So I think I'm going to put it right next to it. Another candidate that I might put back into the A tier. But I think that blue Chex Mix is very solid and also very different from its orange brother. I think that it's just nice and salty, but I think that The wheat checks are definitely a weak point, not a wheat point. Haha, nice pun. But I think those are a little bit of a weak point for Chex Mix. I think the circle pretzels are better than the rectangle pretzels, or the square pretzels rather. But I think Chex Mix overall is just very solid. The rye chip has grown on me over the years. The breadstick could be better. And the corn Chex is great, the yellow one. So a B tier chip. It's close enough to a chip to where I'm going to include it here in this tier list. Next, an interesting one. Fritos Scoops. Not Fritos, but Fritos Scoops. This is an interesting one. I think I'm going to put this in B tier. I think I'm going to go right above Chex Mix. And here's why. Frito Scoops, other than Fritos, not like Fritos, have the unique capability, obviously, to scoop things, right? So you can really put whatever you want in that scoop. I think that is really a great utility element for Fritos Scoops. I think that's what makes it a lot better than Fritos Normal, which we will talk about in a little bit. And I also just think that the greater surface area of Fritos Scoops makes them a lot saltier and a lot tastier. I like my chips kind of salty, and they've got enough salt to where I think they're very, very nice. So the Fritos Scoop, I think it's a very talented chip. And I think it's going to edge out Chex Mix just by a little bit because it's a little bit more consistent. With Chex Mix, you could sometimes get a lot of one thing that you really don't like. The Frito Scoops, you're getting the same thing day in and day out, but I don't think it's as good as a Blue Sun chip. And now we've got, right after them, we've got regular Fritos. Oh, that's Goldfish. We'll talk about that in a sec. But Fritos, regular Fritos are a C tier chip. They're the epitome of just mid. They're a salty chip, it's a corn chip, it's very, very common archetype of chip, and it's just fine. I mean, Fritos Scoops are nicer, like I said, because I think you get a little bit more salt content. I just like the feeling of the scoop in my mouth. You can get the scoop, you get the stuff in the scoop, but a Frito is just like nothing really that special. So I think that it's fine, and I think it's also a very good baseline of what determines if you're better than a Frito, then you're a pretty solid chip. But if you're worse than a Frito, you're not that great. It's a very good line of demarcation for chips in general. So right in the middle at C tier, mid is just the best way to describe these chips. And then something that is not mid at all, another one of my favorite chips of all time. Not really a chip, but close enough to where I'll say it. Goldfish going straight up to S tier. I'm actually going to put them over Baked Lay's. Goldfish are incredible. Also a lot of different variants for Goldfish, but my favorite personally is just the basic Goldfish, just normal Goldfish. Salty, you got a little bit of that flavor with the cheese. That's what makes them golden. But it's just perfect in my opinion. Like I will snack on Goldfish all the time, and I think it just never gets old for me. I don't really have much else to say about Goldfish other than they're just really, really good. And I feel like I won't ever get tired of them. So S tier, it might be the best chip on this entire list. I love Goldfish. It's just truly, even in childhood and now when I've gotten a little bit older, I know a bunch of people older than me who love Goldfish, so I think that it's just a generational chip. And then another chip that you consider kind of mid, kind of going with Fritos, you've got Lay's. Obviously, once again, a lot of variants for Lay's. But I think that as a whole, it's a C tier. I think it's going to be a little bit better than Fritos. There are a couple of flavors, depending on who you ask, that are real good. I know a lot of sour cream and onion people. That's just not really my thing. So I think there's definitely an argument to be made for Lay's as a whole to be maybe a B tier or even an A tier. But I think as a total, Lay's are just fine. I talked about this a little bit when we talked about baked Lay's, but I think that sometimes they're a little bit greasy. I think that you sometimes just get a lot of fragments at the bottom of a bag. I just don't think they're as good as a lot of other chips, especially the chips on top of it in this tier list. So yeah, I just think Lay's are like Fritos, just kind of mid, maybe a little bit better than mid, but depending on what flavor and what person you ask about, I think that it's just all right. And then this is going to be a bit of a controversial one. Miss Vicky's, something I didn't really know about until a couple of years ago. And people really like them from what I've heard, but I just don't think they're that good. They're an F tier. They're just not that tasty. I think that the kettle cooked or however they cook these chips, it's not really my style. They don't really have enough salt on them for the sea salt versions, and the flavored versions just don't really taste that great to me. So I think Miss Vicky's is just not that great. So I'm going to put them in F tier here. I think they could be in D tier. I might pull them up to D tier, but I think that it's nice to establish a floor and a ceiling. So I think that this is going to be an F tier for now. And now we go on to the other Chex Mix that we're talking about today, Orange Chex Mix. And as I said, just so different from Blue Chex Mix because you've got that cheesy component. You've got the little triangle cheese chip thing. That thing is elite, by the way. So I think that Cheese Chex Mix is going to be a little bit better. I think I'm going to put it there in B tier. It's definitely better than regular Chex Mix just because of the added flavor from the cheese. And when you get some of those corn Chex, those wheat Chex that are just caked in cheese, it's just absolutely incredible. I might consider moving this above Sun Chips, but for now I'm going to put it there. But just the difference in flavors that you get from that normal Chex Mix. You get the salt and you get the cheese on top of your original Chex Mix things that you might like. If you really like the pretzels, it's a cheesy pretzel. So I think it's a great building point from the original Chex Mix. So that's why I think it's a little bit better. I think it's a very solid Chex Mix, a very solid chip in total, even though it's not really a chip, but a great snack food overall. And another cheesy chip over here. This one's actually a chip. Orange Sun Chips. We're going to put this puppy in A tier. I'm going to put this over Blue Doritos, actually. Orange Sun Chips are great. I've been having Orange Sun Chips for forever. I think they're by far, out of like the 4 Sun Chips flavors, are the best Sun Chip. Sometimes, if you're not feeling cheese that day, then you can maybe go for one of those other ones. But Orange Sun Chips are truly, really, really, really great. Not really a lot to say. It's got the same thing, kind of like what we were saying with Chex Mix. It's got the same thing that an original Sun Chip has, just a little bit of cheese. And I think that added flavor profile really adds onto it. And it makes it a lot better than just the original Sun Chip. It's got that same crunch. You got that waviness that I like a lot. But it's a great chip. It's an elite chip. And now another controversial one probably. It's not really a chip, once again, I guess is the controversial part. Pirate's Booty is a classic snack, I think, for a lot of kids. And I think it's still a pretty solid. So I think I'm going to put it here at the bottom of B tier. Pirate's Booty, it's almost like, if you haven't had it before, it's almost like a Cheeto Puff, but smaller and with white cheddar cheese. And I think that the thing that differentiates it, that why I have it so much higher than something like a Cheeto Puff that it is kind of similar to, they're a little bit smaller, and they have less cheese almost. I find that sometimes when I eat Cheetos, it's almost a little bit too much. But I think that the white cheddar is a lot more subtle, and I like the crunch on some of these better. So I think Pirate's Booty is very solid. Bottom of B tier, but the B tier is very solid in general. But I like Pirate's Booty a lot. I think that it's something that people should eat more, because I think once you age out of like 7 years old, a lot of people stop eating it. I think it should make a comeback. It's very, very solid. Next we have pretzel rods. Once again, is it a chip? I don't really care. I get to make the decisions. But I have 3 pretzel variants here. I've got pretzel rods, pretzel sticks, and just regular pretzels. So I think it's because they are very different in my opinion. Pretzel rods are a very acquired thing for me. I think it just really depends on the situation. I think I'm going to put it in C tier. Let's get it at the top of C tier, actually. Let's get this in order. Pretzel rods are difficult because especially when you have some of these bigger ones, it's a lot. I feel like it's hard to go through a lot of them, which probably is better for you. But I think that they sometimes lose some of their salt content. That's a issue that pretzels have a lot, where the salt just all goes to the bottom. And I just think it's a lot of pretzel to chew through. I like the skinnier pretzel. And I like I will spoil for later. I like the classic pretzel a little bit more just because I like the shape. I think it's more fun to eat in general. I like that it's a little bit thinner. And we've got pretzel sticks next. I just don't think pretzel sticks are that great either. I'm going to put pretzel sticks. Yeah, I'm going to put them above Cheetos here in D tier. Pretzel sticks, in my opinion, are the worst variant of pretzels that are on this tier list. They have the same thing as pretzel rods, where they're a weird shape. They don't have the funness of a pretzel shape, and they also just aren't as good as a regular pretzel. If I'm gonna have a skinnier pretzel, I'm gonna just have an OG pretzel. And if I want something that's straight, I'm gonna have a pretzel rod because it's a little bit beefier. It's a different eating experience. So pretzel rods or pretzel sticks, excuse me, have an issue where they're trying to be in the middle of a pretzel rod and a pretzel, and it just doesn't really work out that well. It doesn't do anything well enough for me to justify really eating it. And then Pringles, another one where there's a lot of different flavors, kind of like Lay's. But I think these are a lot better than Lay's. I think the thing for Pringles as well that really makes it great is how they've marketed with the cans, with the long cans, and even when you got the little mini Pringles, you got those little things you gotta take the foil off. It's really interesting how they're packaged. I think that's part of what sets them apart as a chip, and I really like Pringles. My favorite Pringle is the original Pringle. I think a lot of Pringle variants are really, really great. Let's bring Pringles. I don't know if I can justify. I think Blue Sun chips are gonna gatekeep the A tier. Pringles are a really great chip. They're so fun to eat. I think that's part of this is just being a little bit different from another chip. They got that unique shape to go along with the unique snack holder, the tube. That's what I'm thinking of. But I really like me a Pringle. Just a classic childhood chip, and I think it just continues to do extremely, extremely well. Now that we're halfway through, all this salt from the chips really getting to me. I think everyone knows what time it is. Hydration break. Really washing down all that chip flavor in my mouth. Just been talking about chips. I feel like I'm tasting them all. It's a great stopping point there in the middle. Now I just get to relax a little bit. Now we can get back into chips now that I'm properly hydrated with some of the best water on the earth. Now we got red Doritos. An interesting one to come back from break from. I don't love red Doritos. I think blue Doritos are a lot better than red Doritos. And this is a big debate, but I'm a blue Dorito guy. I think that red Doritos just aren't as unique as a blue Dorito. I just don't think they're as good. So I think I'm going to put red Doritos. Oh, I'm moving Sun Chips. Let's not do that. I think I'm going to put red Doritos in the D tier. I don't think it's better. They're better than pretzel rods. I just think that red Doritos are just eh. There's nothing that really distinguishes them from me. I would never pick red Doritos over blue Doritos. I think you even get the purple Doritos that I think are better. I don't really have the purple Doritos too much, but I think they're probably better than the red Doritos. But blue Doritos all the way for me. Drop your favorite Dorito in the comments section. I'm going to see if we got Team Blue or Team Red. Team Blue all the way. And we've got Rolled Gold. Rolled Gold, I think, is first of all, the best pretzel brand if you're looking for pretzels. And we're talking about just regular, normal pretzels now. But side note, Rolled Gold is the best pretzel brand of all time. Better than Snyder's or anything else. But Rolled Gold, regular pretzels, I don't have these too much anymore, but I think that they might sneak into A tier. I'm trying to think. They're better than Pirate's Booty. It's better than Chex Mix. Better than a Frito Scoop. Better than that. Is it better than Pringles though? Side note: Pringles absolutely messed up their packaging. What the hell? When they changed from that old logo with the cool mustache to this monochrome black and white nonsense, hate it. Don't like it at all. Bring back Mr. Pringle Man with the cool brown mustache. I think that I'm going to put Rolled Gold right behind Pringles. I think that Pringles are going to gatekeep Rolled Gold here. But I think that Rolled Gold pretzels are super, super solid. I think there's something that I should definitely have more. It's a great borderline chip, right? It's not really a chip, but I think it's a great little snack. I think that, yeah, it's a solid B tier snack, high end of the B tier. It's the best pretzel. Other than a large pretzel that you get a football game or something. But out of the snack pretzels, I think it's definitely the best because it has enough saltiness and it has that fun eating experience that we kind of talked about with Pringles. It's got that fun shape, so you can kind of mess around with your pretzels. Nice and salty. The pretzel flavor is always there. Next, we've got Ruffles. Once again, Ruffles has ridges, I guess, is their big thing. With Ruffles, so it's it has a different shape. But even though it has ridges, they're still just Like eating Ruffles, while it may be a little bit more fun, the taste of a Ruffle just isn't enough to say I'm gonna eat Ruffles. So I think I'm gonna put it also in D tier. Yeah, I think that spot works actually. I might actually put red Doritos in front of it. Yeah, I think that's a good spot. I think it's better than Cheetos just by a little bit. I know Ruffles also has a ton of different flavors, so I think you could also make an argument for maybe some of those flavors are better. But I just don't think Ruffles are great. They're not salty enough for me. I'd much rather have, Lay's. Other than that, whoa, excuse me again. Sorry. But I think that Ruffles are just meh. And now Skinny Pop. Well, the issue with I guess instead of Skinny Pop, I'm gonna say popcorn in general, and I'll say Skinny Pop as well. Popcorn in general is S tier. Popcorn is great. I love just like movie theater popcorn. But Skinny Pop popcorn is just the opposite of that. It makes movie theater popcorn less fun. It's healthy, which if I'm gonna eat popcorn, I like the artificial flavor of the fake butter personally. But Skinny Pop's still fine. It's bottom of the C tier for me. I find that it doesn't have enough salt, doesn't have enough butter. Even when you go to it has movie theater butter versions, it just doesn't taste as good as another type of movie theater butter popcorn. It's a little bit just too light for me. And the lightly salted one that's in this photo here, I think just the original, it's fine. I'd much rather eat regular popcorn. I didn't have a photo of regular popcorn here, but it would probably be S tier, probably in between Goldfish and baked Lay's probably. And now Stacy's. This is a little bit more niche. It's a pita chip. I love Stacy's. These are a big hit in my family personally. Stacy's pita chips are really good. I think I'm gonna put these ahead of Doritos. Actually, they're kind of thicker. And they've got a unique taste because it's not like a corn chip, like a tortilla chip, or like like a sun chip, like a wheat chip, or it's not like a potato chip. So it's like it's a pita chip, so it's very different. And they're nice and salty. Their texture is very, very nice. I think that more people should eat them. I think that they're really, really great. They're not as popular as a lot of other chips, but I think in terms of flavor, they are incredible. Oh, this one's going to get me in trouble. We got Takis next. I know a lot of really, really big Taki lovers. Me personally, I don't like them. I don't think they're good. It's not even that I don't like spice that much, and that might be part of it, but I just think that it just doesn't taste that great. If I want a little bit of kick, I know it's not like crazy spice, but if I want like that kind of flavor profile, I'm going to go for a Dorito. I understand that some people like, I just love the spice, rather than just flavor in general, and that's fine. And I think that what Takis does well is they got the rolled up chip, and I think that's really interesting how they have that. And Takis has certain notoriety, so I think that Takis have done a good job marketing themselves, and I think that I can definitely see the appeal for them. But me personally, I'm just not a huge fan of them. I'm gonna put them in the D tier. Probably below Cheetos. I just don't love them personally, but I can totally understand if that's something that you're really into, but it's just not really my jive. And moving up, this is probably a little better than Takis. Tostitos, and I guess just tortilla chips in general, is basic tortilla chips. Me personally, when I'm talking about tortilla chips, and we're just going to talk about tortilla chips, I like my tortilla chips a little bit thicker and a little bit saltier. I think that really constitutes a better tortilla chip, and I think that Tostitos, they're fine. Sorry, Mike. I just touched you on accident. Sorry, bud. But Tostitos, it's just a tortilla chip. It's not anything where I'm like, that's a great tortilla chip, and I'm not saying it's like an awful tortilla chip. And I think sometimes I like the ones where it's like the lime. It's got like the twist of lime in it. Those are pretty solid. But Tostitos in general, they're just meh. I don't want to put them above rolled gold or above the pretzel sticks. I think I'm gonna move pretzel raw. No, I'm gonna keep it like that. I'm gonna commit to that. The D tier is really filling out there. And we got 2 chips left. Wow, almost at the end here. And Veggie Straws is gonna be our second to last. Another one that's kind of a chip. I'm gonna count it as a chip. Veggie Straws, I think, are really great actually. I know they're technically veggie, but they don't really taste like it. They're just nice and salty. And I think that the straw part of it, just like I was talking about like Takis, it's got a new shape. It's really interesting. So I think these are really fun. I like veggie straws. I think it's better than Fritos, better than Lay's. Don't know. It's better than pretzel rods. Yeah, I think I'm gonna put it top of C tier here. I think veggie straws are really, really solid. I think there's definitely an argument for B tier. I just don't think it's better than Pirate's Booty, which is there at the bottom of B tier. So I think that veggie straws are really great. I think they're nice and salty. They got that nice shape. And finally, this one holds a special place in my heart. Zapp's potato chips. Comes from New Orleans, where I'm from. I really like Zapp's. I think they've also got a lot of flavors. The most popular one is the Voodoo flavor, which is here. Yeah, we got the Voodoo flavor. That Voodoo is really good. It's got the nice spices. Original's really good as well. They got a lot of really nice flavors. It's different from a normal potato chip. I feel like it's a little bit thicker. It might be kettle cooked. I don't really know, but it just feels a little bit different from your standard potato chip, like a Lay's potato chip. So I think I'm gonna put Zapp's. We're gonna move it up here. I think I'm gonna put it there near Pirate's Booty in the B tier, and that is it. Let me know in the comments if you agree. You probably won't. I've got probably some interesting takes here. I know that a couple of these aren't chips technically, but I think that they're close enough, like a goldfish, to where it's fine. But goldfish at the very top, Miss Vicky's, I think it's probably not F tier actually. But I'm going to keep it there just so you have something in F tier because it looks visually pleasing. But with all that being said, that is it. Drop in the comments what your favorite chip is and what I got wrong, because there probably is a lot of opinions, because I probably have very different opinions. So I don't try out Stacy's if you haven't already. Those are incredible. But let's do the classic YouTuber plugs. Like, comment, subscribe. Share this with all your friends, obviously, because this is amazing. Follow me on Instagram. That'll be in the description, I believe. And with all that being said, I'm Nate, and that's just my take.